Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So I'm back with another video to help you guys learn some tips to read your own tarot cards, and today we're going to be covering the topic of timing. Basically, how can you use tarot to predict when something is going to happen or when is the best time for you to take a certain action. I think there's a lot of ways to do this, but today I'm just going to share with you a few of the methods that I use, and if any of them resonate with you, please feel free to use them yourself. Before I get started, if you like pick a card tarot readings on YouTube and you're new here, please feel free to check out my other videos. That's what I normally do on this channel, and I would love to have you. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share the methods with you guys first, and then I'll do a couple examples so you can see how they all work together. I think the most obvious way to use cards to predict timing is to use the numbers on the cards. You probably know that almost all of the tarot cards except for the court cards, Page, Knight, Queen, and King, have numbers on them. So you can use this number to predict the number of days, weeks, months, or years that something's gonna happen or that you should do something. So for example, a 2 card like the 2 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, or even the High Priestess, because that card has the number 2 on it as well, that could be telling you 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. Usually you should be able to know which unit of time the card is trying to tell you just with your intuition and common sense. Let's say for an example, I ask when my next relationship is going to be and I get the 6 of Cups. So for me, this is probably not going to be 6 years because I don't think I'm going to be single until my 30s. I also don't think it's going to be 6 days or 6 weeks, given that I don't have a person of interest right now. So I would be pretty confident with this card that it's telling me 6 months. If you are really not sure whether your card is referring to days or weeks or whatever, I tend to read the Swords and the Wands cards as faster and the Cups and the Pentacles as slower. And the reason for that is that the Swords and Wands represent the elements of air and fire. So when I think of those, it's like it's weightless, it feels like it can move faster. And then the Cups and Pentacles represent water and earth. So they feel denser, right? They feel slower. So let's say for another example, you're asking, when is my crush gonna text me? And you get the 2 of Wands, and you really don't know if this means like 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. So the Wands energy is a faster moving one. So like for me personally, if I think 2 days, that's super fast, obviously. But I would also actually feel that 2 weeks is pretty fast, especially if I am not so close with my crush yet and we don't talk that often. 2 weeks also seems fast to me. So for me, this card is probably telling me that I can expect to hear from them in the time frame between 2 days and 2 weeks. However, if in your situation 2 weeks is actually a long time, like that seems like a long time for you to wait, or it's unusually long to not hear from this person, then this card is probably telling you 2 days. So in the same way, if I'm asking the same question and I get the 2 of Pentacles, then I would think that that's saying 2 months, because that to me is what would feel slow, like it would feel like a long time to wait for a message. But if you feel that 2 weeks is a long time, then this card is probably trying to tell you 2 weeks. Obviously, you know, the passing of time is subjective and we all feel it differently. So you should go with like whatever feels slow or whatever feels fast to you, because like I said in my last video, tarot will adapt to the person who is using it so that they can read the right meaning from their own subjective experience. You also don't need to use the numbers as units of time if that doesn't really resonate with your question. Like for example, if the thing you're asking about is not like one definitive event, like the example of your crush texting you, but rather like a progression. So for example, if you're asking, when am I going to start to feel more confident in myself, or when is this project going to be successful? Those are kind of things that maybe are not like boiled down to one specific day, and that you would sort of feel the realization that it happened over time. Do you know what I mean? In that case, I like to use the numbers as corresponding to months, for example. So like January is 1, February is 2, March is 3. This is also a good way to do it if you're asking the question of when should I do something, because usually It's not like a specific day that we have to do something, like you should do it on May 13th. It's usually like there's a window of time that it would be good to take action, you know? So that concludes the method of using numbers. Now you may be thinking, what if I get a court card? What then? Well, there are ways besides using the numbers to predict timing. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those, and then we're going to put them all together to see what we have. So the first way to predict timing without using numbers is to associate the different suits of cards with different seasons. So I have all the queens here, and I do it like this. I do wands for spring, cups for summer, pentacles for fall, and swords for winter. I do that partly because I just feel like the energy of those suits corresponds well to the season. Like for example, wands being like a new burst of energy, so like things coming to life in the springtime, and pentacles being about, you know, abundance and reaping things, so it reminds me of the fall harvest. But also, you can see on these cards, like the illustration kind of looks like the corresponding season. Like the Queen of Wands, she has like the flowers blooming around her. The Queen of Cups, she's chilling on a beach looking place with water. The Queen of Pentacles, she looks like she's sitting in a sort of leafy area and it's like red and green. And the Queen of Swords looks like she is sitting in a cold, icy place. So this would be another good method for those more abstract kind of questions, like when am I going to be successful and things like that. And another thing we can do with these, like we talked about before, each of the suits correspond to a different element, fire, water, earth, and air. So I'm sure like when you've been watching a pick a card reading on YouTube, you might hear the reader say like, okay, so you have the Queen of Wands, you could be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Of course, you can use that to determine the sign of a person, but you can also use it to determine the season that something's going to happen in. So like for the Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius season. Almost all of the major arcana are associated with the zodiac sign as well, so you can use that method for those too. There's too many to list them all in this video, but I will put all the major arcana and their corresponding signs in the description for you if you want to see that. So again, for this method, we have to kind of use our intuition and common sense to find the answer, because obviously if we get this Queen of Wands, she could be telling us Aries season, Leo season, or Sagittarius season. So we kind of have to think about it. For example, okay, it's April now, so Aries season seems pretty soon. I don't think that sounds right, but Sagittarius season seems way too far away, so it's probably Leo season. If you really aren't sure, you can take another card for clarification. So just for example, I'm gonna take the Queen of Wands with the 10 of Pentacles. So I'm gonna do this with days, weeks, and months because I don't know how many of us are like predicting things 10 years into the future. So today is April 4th when I'm filming this video. It's actually my birthday, by the way. You can see I'm representing today. And so 10 of Pentacles, 10 days from now would be April 14th. So that is springtime, check. And that's Aries season, also check. So that works really well with this Queen of Wands card. If we go 10 weeks from now, then that would be like the middle of June. So that's still springtime, which works with her, but it's not a fire sign season. That would be Gemini season. So it still works, but it's a bit weaker. And then 10 months from now doesn't work at all because that's not springtime and it's not a fire season. So if I had to guess the time frame for this timing, I would say between 10 days and 10 weeks, but more towards the 10 days mark because that had a stronger correlation. So that would mean that the thing I'm asking about is most likely to happen in the second half of April or maybe the beginning of May, but it's also possible that it could happen like end of May, beginning of June, but less likely. So now we have learned several ways to predict timing, so I'm going to use my deck and do some example questions so you can see how all of these methods work together. So first question I'm going to ask is, when should I upload this video? Oh. So actually two cards came out. There was the Emperor and there was the Nine of Pentacles. So the Emperor makes a lot of sense because it's Aries. The Emperor represents Aries, so Aries season is now. It's also 4, so it makes me think of the month of April. That also makes a lot of sense. I'm probably gonna upload this within this month. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So within this month, that would have to be 9 days. So 9 days from now is April 13. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna upload this video on April 13. The tarot has spoken. When am I gonna move into a new apartment? Not that I want to, I'm just curious. Ah! It's the Two of Cups. I would say this is probably 2 years from now. I don't really have a plan to move in 2 months. I hope I don't have to do that. So I'm gonna say 2 years for this. That's pretty nice. And also, if I look at the meaning of the card, this is about, you know, like relationships, couples, and soulmates and things like that. So maybe this is saying that the next time I move into a new apartment is gonna be with a significant other. I'm actually gonna update if that happens. Okay, when is the next time I'm gonna visit Canada? I'm actually curious about this one. The Empress, so that could be 3 months from now. That would be July. I'm not really sure about that because I don't know if the situation is gonna be better by then. This also represents the sign of Libra, so this could be the month of October, and I think that that makes more sense to me, so I'm gonna go with October. Okay, this one is just for fun. When am I gonna get married? Oh, this is really funny. I got the Nine of Pentacles again, and this card is about being single, so your girl's not getting married. 9 months does not seem right, and 9 years seems way too long. So you know what, I'm gonna take another clarifying one for this. Okay, so actually 2 more fell out. I really gotta find a better way to shuffle in these videos rather than just letting them fall on the floor. It was the King of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So maybe this is like, see, I want this to be as far away as possible because a bitch is not ready. So I'm gonna read this as like 1 year and 9 months. That's like, I mean, that's still very, very soon, but it's the farthest away I can get with these. So that would be like, I guess 2022. And then I also got the King of Cups. So maybe this is like 2022 summertime, if I'm pushing it back even more. And also with the meanings of these cards, like we said, the Nine of Pentacles is strongly suggesting that I stay single at this time. You know, I think I have a lot to achieve and, you know, a lot of growing to do. The Ace of Pentacles suggests that I should focus on my career right now and maybe build that up. And the King of Cups suggests to work on really becoming emotionally mature. So it makes a lot of sense, you know. No rush. So that is the end of my how to predict timing with tarot video. I hope that that was helpful and that it was easy enough to understand and follow, and I hope that you can use some of these methods on your own. Don't forget to like this video and comment if you feel like doing that, and feel free to check out my pick a card videos as well if you're new. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!